Book 6 has begun, and we have a brand new banner to kick things off. Today we'll be going over the Ash and Awakening banner featuring Basilio, Flavia, Priam, and Ash, who is the free Book 6 character. Important to note is that there is a mistranslation for Flavia's weapon, so we'll discuss what it actually does, and it's going to make her better than expected. In addition to a free Ash, everyone will also get 2 free 5-star copies of Miriel. She will be an instant demote, but she's only going to enter the summoning pool in this month's legendary banner. Do note that despite our mythic / legendary double banner last month, it appears we're going with a legendary hero for December. Ash will also be on that banner as well. Now, for this new hero's banner, the 4-star focus unit is Basilio. You can get him at 4-star and 5-star rarity. As a unit, Basilio is an axe infantry unit. We just cannot stop getting more of these guys. He's going to have 48 HP, 43 attack, 33 speed, 36 defense, and 21 res. Basilio will have that spicy plus attack super boon. He is pretty similar to Balthus in HP attack and defense, but Basilio focuses on speed while Balthus has decent res. He feels sort of like a current gen Ross who has high attack and can focus on speed if you really want. There are just so many free to play friendly axes around though. For old skills, Basilio has Moonbow, Attack and Defense Bond, and Attack Tactic. Attack and Defense Bond is on some heroic grow units, but this is the first time it enters the 3 to 4-star summoning pool. Nothing too crazy here. For his weapon, Basilio has the Spirited Axe Plus. If bonus is active on unit, grant attack and defense +4 and special crit on charge +1 per foe's attack during combat. So this is not a new weapon, and it's the same as Grim Hinata's Huge Fan Plus. Hinata is a heroic grow unit, so this isn't that hard to get unless you merged him up. I would say that these weapons are nice if you want some cooldown reduction. It only grants special charge when you get hit, but it could be used on an Axe Flyer or Cavalier since they lack cooldown skills in general. You do need a bonus on the user though, so either have some field balls ready or a status effect. If you don't want to invest too hard in Basilio, he can be a pretty simple quick riposte user. He can focus on attack and defense, charge up a bonfire or Ignis thanks to Spirited Axe, and double the enemy. There is a bit of a problem though, and it's that Basilio does not get a bonus in his base kit. Attack Tactic is nice for his team, but Basilio should use a self-buffing skill, or you're gonna have to bring buffers for yourself. We have some old skills on heroic grow units that would work fine with the more defensive quick riposte style. Now, with some speed to work with, you could try to go all in on speed for Basilio. Thanks to being an axe unit, he has some amazing inheritable axes, including the Spring Axe Plus from Soleil, or Spring Soleil. This grants +5 attack and speed and neutralizes attack and speed debuffs, so if you really want to go fast, this is an option. You can also use Lulls and Menace skills to provide more stats, and No Follow-Up could maybe work if you want to mess with slower tanks. No Follow-Up could go with brave axes like the new Shuriken Cleaver or the good old Armor Slaying Hammer. Basilio ties for the highest base attack for axe infantry, so just focusing on pure attack can be pretty fun. Another fun axe is the Dex Swabber, the Unbound Axe, a classic. These solo weapons are great, and you can pair them with solo skills for lots of stats on both phases. In general, Basilio has a lot of competition, but he offers super high base attack and some speed can be built around. I think if you want a more defensive unit, then Balthus is better, but the West Con could be the more aggressive choice. Joining Basilio is his eastern counterpart, Flavia. She will be a sword infantry unit and has 41 HP, 40 attack, 41 speed, 36 defense, and 23 resistance. Flavia is going with the pretty typical speedy swordmaster stat spread. Of course, she also has the usual attack and speed super boons. There is a ton of competition for this class, so let's see what she brings to differentiate herself. For old skills, Flavia is going to have Draconic Aura and attack and speed push 4, more attack and speed, but the recoil damage can be an issue for her weapon. Speaking of which, Flavia is going to come with the Lioness Blade, and this thing has a mistranslation in the English version at least. It is a 16-man weapon that accelerates specials, and if Flavia has more than 25% HP, she gets +6 attack and speed, and if her special does trigger, she disables non-special skills that reduce damage by X%. This is going to exclude AoE specials because those can be affected by things like dodge. Now, if Flavia has more than 25% HP and the foe has more than 75% HP, she gets special cooldown charge +1 per attack. In game, this states she gets special cooldown charge +1 per unit's attack, and that does not mean the same thing. That implies Flavia only gets extra cooldown on her own hits, but in actuality, she gets extra cooldown charge when she gets hit as well. This is a much stronger effect, and it definitely changes how she functions. Now, obviously, Flavia's main selling point is that she does not care about damage reduction skills when she procs her special. Thus, you're going to want to spam specials as much as possible, and with the extra cooldown reduction, Flavia can do just that. Next, Flavia has a new inheritable season skill called Red Feud 3. If in combat against a red foe, disable all skills of other foes except the one in combat and inflict -4 to all stats on them. Basically, when you fight a red enemy, you're going to get Bramimon's Impenetrable Dark 1v1 ability. This is pretty nice, but what if I fight a blue, green, or colorless unit? The second part of the skill addresses this. During combat against any other color, disable skills of red foes and again does not affect the unit in combat. Part 2 of this skill basically states that you can only disable skills from red supporting foes when you fight blue, green, or colorless enemies. You cannot inherit red feud onto green units. So these new feud skills seem a bit niche since they obviously they're going to be best against red enemies or whatever color they end up coming in. That being said, it can mess with red support units. For example, Muspo's C skill will no longer activate. In general, feud skills seem very meta dependent. Do you encounter enough red supports like Muspo, or do you encounter enough red carries being supported? For example, if there was a blue feud C skill, you could counter Nifl and Brave Lucina, plus a really strong unit like Brave Hector can get extra support from his team. Green feud would stop Thor's Worldbreaker, and colorless feud would stop Flame's damage reduction. Important to note, Impenetrable Dark and feud skills do not stop save skills, so you're still gonna have to deal with that. I'm very unsure about these skills, but they could be proved to be very annoying anti-meta type skills. Back to Flavia, her base kit is rather simple. Draconic Aura is going to be on a 2 cooldown. If she gets hit or hits someone, she'll charge it up instantly, and when she procs her or when she hits again, she's going to proc it and ignore damage reduction skills. Attack and speed push is alright, but Flavia needs to stay above 25% HP, so Rico damage is not ideal for multiple fights. Personally, I think Flavia is a more aggressive unit, so something like no follow-up to ensure she does double is best. Dodge skills can also work, including distant counter builds, but I think Flavia can be quite strong with Time's Pulse and a 2-cooldown special like Ruptured Sky. Like Ira and many other users, she can instantly charge specials, so you initiate combat with a special ready, and Lioness Blade disables damage reduction skills. When Flavia takes a counter attack, she will recharge her special, and she can proc it again if she doubles. Normally, since it's a 1 cooldown, she doesn't need extra special charge when hit, but this is going to make a difference if you run into guard to cancel it out. It's a nice insurance policy, and Flavia can get 2 Ruptured Sky procs that both ignore damage reduction. You can also go with higher cooldown specials, but guard may interfere with things there. If you do want to try a more defensive build, Flavia can do her best legendary Ike impression. 4 cooldown Aether, Special Spira, and Steady Breath type cooldown on both phases is pretty dang nice for long-term sustain. If you want to stay healthy with non-healing specials, Surge Sparrow can also save the day. Overall, I think Flavia is supposed to be a more offensive tank buster than dodge abuser. Damage reduction is everywhere these days, so any unit that can disable it is appreciated. Ironically, I think Flavia would have been real good with Flow Guard to prevent certain instant bonfire counterattacks, but she can't run it. No follow-up plus guard would have been amazing. On this banner is another Sword Infantry unit, and it's Priam. He will have 40 HP, 41 attack, 40 speed, 35 defense, and 26 res. Like Flavia, he will have attack and speed super boons. More speedy sword units, and Priam's not even the last one in this update. For skills, he's going to have Soul, Attack and Defense Ideal 4, and no follow-up. Ideal skills are a bit restricting by requiring full HP, but they can still be fine if you have bonuses. No follow-up is a pretty staple sword skill these days. As a supposed descendant of Ike, Priam has the Ancient Ragno. It has 16 might and distant counter, and can grant a flat +3 defense. At start of combat, if Priam has more than half HP or a bonus active on him, he inflicts -6 attack and defense on the foe. So a distant counter weapon with some stat debuffs, nothing too fancy but solid. Taking less damage is always nice when you're using distant counter, and Priam's going to deal extra damage as well. To proc Ancient Ragno and the Ideal 4 skill, Priam's going to have Rouse Speed and Defense 4. At start of turn, if unit is not adjacent to an ally, grant +6 speed and defense and no panic for 1 turn. Our second Rouse 4 skill, and these just add no panic on top of their tier 3 version. For units like Priam, no panic will count as a bonus, so even if the enemy disables his field buffs, he can still activate his skills. While Priam has the speed of Fallen Ike and an easy to use debuffing ability on Ancient Ragno, he does not have a 4 cooldown Aether, which is the staple of all the Ikes. He can use Steady Breath as a Sacred Seal, but the timing is going to be awkward since 5 cooldown requires 3 actions even with extra special charge. In general, Priam is pretty scrappy, at least for physical damage brawls. He gets a lot of extra defense from attack and defense ideal and rouse speed and defense, and no follow-up is solid in a lot of matchups. If you keep his base kit, I think attack and speed or speed and res solo would be a nice complement. If you're going to go with steady breath, then Ignis would do a ton of damage. If you don't want to play around, Rouse's solo condition, Priam can also take the ult C skills to self buff, and for more defensive play, tier 3 dual stances and lulls are fine. I think if you want to use Unity with distant counter, then it just makes more sense to go get Fallen Ike instead. You can also double up on Unity effects. If you just want to go for the dodge route, then solo skills and Menace C skills are always fun. Mystic Boost can provide some extra sustain if you're not going to be using a healing special. All in all, Priam is another DC sword infantry unit and kinda a side grade to Fallen Ike. Both units are very fast, and while Fallen Ike can become insane with Unity effect, if there are no debuffs in play, then the effect does nothing. Priam's Ancient Ragno is very simple to use, but he also does not get a 4 cooldown Aether, which is unfortunate. As mentioned, we still have another sword infantry unit in this update in Yen Fei. He actually competes with Priam since he also has a distant counter sword, so that's going to be a pretty spicy comparison. Last unit on the banner is Ashe from Book 6. You can get her for free by doing Chapter 1 of Book 6, so everyone can get her. Ashe is going to be a light mythic with the new extra team slot for attacking teams. That's pretty solid as a bonus, so she can replace Air or Peony on your 8-8 teams. As a unit, Ashe is a colorless infantry beast unit, very nice class type, and Ashe is actually a really strong free unit. She'll have 41 HP, 39 attack, 27 speed, 41 defense, and 34 res. She has attack and defense super boons, and both of those would be just fine. For all skills, Ashe comes with Bonfire, Attack and Defense Unity, and Law Attack and Defense. With 41 base defense, this little lady is going to be quite sturdy. For her weapon, Ashe has the Horn of Opening, and it's pretty incredible. It accelerates special trigger, and if Ashe is within 3 spaces of an ally, she gets +6 attack and inflicts -6 attack on the foe. She gets more effects depending on the number of allies within 3 spaces. If it's 2 or more, she makes a follow-up attack, and if it's 3 or more, she prevents a follow-up herself. A slower tanky unit with built-in follow-up attacks, follow-up prevention, and accelerated specials is just incredible. That's not all though, because if she transforms, Ashe gets the extra 2 attack to have a 60-minute weapon, and like Nihilus Refine, she gets +7 damage on special trigger, no guard, and no special charge. That is an incredibly stacked weapon for a free unit, and Ashe is going to be great for general content. She is susceptible to no follow-up skills, and transforming is an issue on non-beast or dragon teams, but there's a lot of good stuff here. Ashe will also have a unique C skill called Opening Retainer. Allies within 2 spaces can move to a space within 2 spaces of Ashe. It also grants +4 attack to those same allies, and if Ashe is within 2 spaces of an ally herself, she's going to get the same attack boost. Opening Retainer is basically Summer Tana's refined with 2 space warping and joint drive attack. No speed boost, but that's okay. For those of you who have not experienced the 2 space warping skills, this is going to be a wild ride. That ability is so dang good, and it can extend the range of units by a ton depending on where Ashe is standing. For example, a ranged unit 2 spaces behind Ashe can move 2 spaces in front of her. It is an insane mobility tool, and it's a lot of fun to use. For Aether raids, it may not be a dance like Peony, but Ashe can move your team around, and she can help Cavaliers traverse trenches and forest tiles, or you can help ferry a unit over a structure even. The +4 attack is also on top of Ashe's +3 attack from her Light Blessing. For a free unit, Ashe is damn good. Very bulky with free follow-up attacks is great, but adding on Fallen Prevention, no guard, and no special charge is just nuts. The biggest issue with Ashe is getting her transformed. If she stays near the team, she can't transform next to non-beast or dragon allies. While she is strongest herself when transformed, she's still decent without the bonus effects, and she's going to have Opening Retainers to support her team. Her base kit is perfectly fine to keep and gives her even more damage in bulk. Like Nyla, Ashe can abuse her beast infantry focus on specials by running Steady Breath. She can pop an instant bonfire counter, and with no guard, the enemy can't do a thing. Ashe could also run distant counter, but as a mythic hero, she won't get the bonus stats from blessings, so she may not be the best unit to treat as a main tank carry. Perfectly valid option for other game modes though. You could also go with no follow-up or special spire if you want to spam Aethers, and while low attack and defense is great, if you want extra support skills, then Ashe can fit in a Ruse debuff with a rally skill. She can also get extra field buffs via Link B skills. For example, you can give your team a ton of attack with Ashe. You could use attack and defense Link, Opening Retainer, and drive attack as a seal. Very simple +13 attack, very easy to put together. One other thing you can do with Ashe is go for some Heavy Blade, or with no guard, and if you can proc Heavy Blade, she's going to be able to guarantee those Gale Force activations. Overall, Ashe is incredible for a free unit. all hail the laser shooting cow. Last, let's talk about Miriel a bit. She's a blue infantry mage with 37 HP, 37 attack, 40 speed, 25 defense, and 31 resistance. Miriel will have HP speed and defense super boons. While we have some newer high res blue mages like Tatiana or Ileana, Miriel drops res for superior speed. She is very fast for blue infantry mages, and 37 base attack is good as well. For old skill, she's going to have drawback and speed and res link 3. Miriel will be a solid addition to the low rarity pool. For her weapon, she brings the blue line plus tome to the game. Line tomes grant plus 6 field buff or plus 6 attack field buff to adjacent allies each turn. For the user themselves, at the start of combat, if the foe has more than 75% HP, they're going to get plus 5 attack and res. These are a support / combative hybrid and not too bad. The attack buff is extremely basic, but nothing wrong with plus 6 attack and works with other buffs like speed and res link. The attack and res boost for the user is alright, but there are also other similar tomes with extra combative perks. While not a new skill, Miriel is going to have attack and speed ideal 3. Getting a tier 3 ideal skill in the low rarity pool is kind of crazy. It's not a bad budget option either. You can get plus 5 attack and speed on either phase with no positioning requirements, and it's active on full HP or if you have a bonus active. Unlike the tier 4 versions though, you're not going to get extra bonus stats for meeting both conditions. Miriel may not have a unique weapon, but she has some solid stats for a 3 to 4 star blue mage. She's easily the best option if you want to go fast, and she has a myriad of tomes to choose from. Her base kit is somewhat synergistic. You can buff attack, speed, and res for allies, and the self buffs will activate attack and speed ideal. If you just want to go for a basic build, you can add your favorite movement assist skill and use more support skills like drive attack or distant guard. If you prefer to get more hands-on, Miriel can be a solid Fox Tome user, or you can run the usual offensive skills like Swift Sparrow, no follow-up, or low speed and res. If you want to keep attack and speed ideal, you can borrow attack and speed oath from Ninja Shamir. For other offensive blue tomes, there's the Spooky Sensor, which is from Halloween Ileana and Divine Code Shop. It's a Fury 3 tome, and you can put together a really simple Desperation and Brazen Attack and Speed build. Drifting Grace from the recent Crusader Lewin or Floral Guide from Summer Loot are seasonal 4-star focus options. Now, if you really want, Miriel can use the defensive Spider Plush or Pack Blooms Plus. You could use her defense super boon, and with lots of merges or summoner support, Miriel could be a fun mage to use like that. She has a lot of base speed to work with, so you can just invest in defense and res. Overall, Miriel is going to be a nice addition to the 3 to 4 star pool. Blue mages have a lot more inheritable tomes to try out, and she has a nice stat spread to experiment with. That will wrap up the opening banner for Book 6. You can get Miriel and Ash for free, and for those not summoning, we finally have a banger of a Grand Hero Battle unit. Yen Fei is the single redeeming unit in what has been a rather lackluster year for Grand Hero Battles. It's to the point where it's hard to believe he's actually the free unit. We'll talk about him more next time, but there's a lot of good things to discuss. Good luck on your summons, and I'll be back soon.